Set.
Action.
Directing for me, I think, has been the most rewarding experience in my life. There's so much work that goes into it and so much preparation. And, there's something about opening up the script for the first time and just being so completely overwhelmed, and then sort of slowly but surely chipping away at it and wrapping your head around it until, the next thing you know, it's 8 days later and you're on your last setup and everything's come together the way that you wanted it to. It's really, really a rewarding experience. At first it was an intimidating prospect to sort of go from being an actor to a director. You don't really know how seriously you'll be taken in that capacity as a director from, your fellow actors or from, the crew or producers or whatever. But everybody here has been so great in both of my episodes that I've directed. And it hasn't been as intimidating as I thought it would. It actually has sort of been a seamless transition. And I think that, I know from my experience, when we have a director that's an actor, it's easy for them to understand where I'm coming from. And it's easy to sort of speak the same language and to communicate. So I think that I get a lot of that back when I direct from the actors. Directing myself is the biggest challenge for me. Not in terms of where I need to be in the scene, or not in terms of actually finding my way through a scene personally as an actor, but just having to be sort of in two headspaces at once. As an actor, I like to come to set and just stay focused on what I have going on in my scene. I have sort of a one-track mind, and as a director, you have to be sort of everywhere at once and working with all the different departments to make sure that that particular shot is coming together correctly. So trying to stay focused on one thing and everything at the same time is really difficult for me. And then there's also the factor of not really being able to be behind the camera watching what's going on. So that's when executive producer Greg Prange and our DP Peter Kowalski and Mark Schwann, when he's on set, that's when people like that really can save you and sort of become your eyes. In that scene in particular, basically what we were doing was shooting a flashback where Clay and Nathan are blowing off some steam and celebrating Nathan's amazing performance against Memphis in the NBA. And so basically what happens at that party is that's when they had their first encounter with Renee, who later accuses Nathan of infidelity. And so it was a pretty important scene to shoot, and it was a pretty big day, and that was another one of the days where I was actually acting and directing at the same time, and there was a lot of things going on visually. So that was definitely a challenge, but we got a lot of good stuff that day. Yeah, I think creatively I aspire to sort of build something, I think, from the ground up as far as a production is. I have my own ideas in terms of what I'd like to see on the film screen or what I'd like to see in television, and hopefully I can develop those ideas into something that I can actually bring to reality someday. I've always been a really big fan of the action genre, and of things being really visibly catching and captivating, and so something like that I think would be a lot of fun to do and to try to wrap my head around in the future. But it's all very preliminary. But I think directing has really shown me that I'm capable of more than I thought I was in terms of this business and in terms of television and film. So.